Yes guys, hope you are doing well. This is Patrick Egon, the channel that I teach Patrick Egon. Welcome to our channel today. We are doing a mentorthon, that is a career mentorthon. And today we are lucky to have a mechanical engineer on the house. He's called Kutol. Let him introduce himself. Karibu sir.
Wow, thank you so much. And it's a pleasure to have you this evening and to join you here to mentor you on one or two things of mechanical engineering. My name is Kutol, and I'm a practicing mechanical engineer, as you can see from the film. And I hope you learn more about this career and so many other things that are going to come up. Thank you.
Okay, we are sorry for the background noise, but it's only that we have to do this interview in the plant as everything is going on well, so that you can at least see whatever the engineer has been doing around. So, engineer,
Yes.
tell us about yourself. Where were you born? Maybe a small history about that.
Wow, thank you. I was born in a very remote village around Baringo County, a place known as Pombo, Sagal village. That is where my career started as a young boy. The very remote village where there was no water, there was no electricity. Actually, it was just basically but a very remote village with no dreams, with extremely no dreams. So I actually grew up knowing that there is a future for our place, there is a future for our people, and we can do something to at least develop our people. That's why I ended up being a mechanical engineer. Especially my main focus, or what actually led me to being there, is having lived in a place where we used to trade water with the donkeys. We used to go and look for paraffin kilometers away, so as to get at least some paraffin for our lanterns. So I got so much encouraged, and I once wanted to at least study something on energy, know something on fluid flow, so that at least I can deliver some water to my remote people, at least, and give those donkeys some rest in the village.
Okay. Yes. So tell us about your primary school journey.
Okay, my primary school journey started almost 20 years ago at Pomba Primary School, where I started my education, having my class teachers, the late Mrs. Tikrono, may her soul rest in eternal peace, and Miss Kibet, who is who is about to retire currently. Then that is when I started my education journey around early 2000 or late 90s. And I moved on until the year 2006, where I moved to Nakuru County, a school known as Majitamu Academy, to quest my thirst for knowledge. And then upon that, God helped me, and I managed to score a good grade, went to high school. Again, I went back, funny enough, I went back to Baringo County. Again, maybe I didn't know that I was going to look for problems, or I'm going to look for problems to find solutions to mentor me to be able to do everything. So that's how I ended up being in Baringo High School. Baringo High School life was not so much simple. We survived like real men. It taught us to be who I was today. Because at some extent it mentored me to live like a soldier, and I nearly wanted to be a soldier, but I thank God who I am today because of those difficulties. I managed and scored a good grade, went to the university and pursued my bachelor's degree. I'm specialized in mechanical engineering, and I've been practicing now for quite some time.
Okay. So let us come back to, at what point did you decide that you want to be a mechanical engineer?
Wow. I think my dream for the dream where I started thinking to be a mechanical engineer is the day when our donkey fell down at a place known as Aita. It was a very rocky place, and I was taking the donkey alone, and unfortunately the donkey fell asleep, and it fell all the 80 liters of water jerrycans that it was carrying. It made me disappointed, and I chose that one day, one time, I'll bring a solution to that village. The solution was just to deliver water to that remote village and give those donkeys rest. And so as I moved on, I wasn't sure actually exactly on what I'm going to do to be that person, because I just knew that it's just about plumbing, but there was actually so many things involved, because those terrains, you have hills, you have valleys, temperatures are sometimes high, sometimes cold. So it needed a lot of things for me to learn on materials. that can make me do those things.
Okay.
So as I started doing my own research, I finally ended up in mechanical engineering because some friend of mine told me that for you to be able to study that, you must have a good knowledge of fluid mechanics or rather thermodynamics, so that you can be able to study on fluid flow and at least the work that you require and so many other things that are required for that to happen.
Okay.
So that is the first instance where I got excited knowing more about that mechanical engineering.
Okay. So
Yes.
let us come back to this. For the purpose of inspiration and maybe helping someone, let us go back to high school. Kindly tell us the grade you were able to score in high school, and then tell us the subject combination which were needed for you to be able to go to campus and maybe pick a course in mechanical engineering.
Wow. So in high school, actually even before you can think of starting a career, you know, to build a career, you must first of all have the foundations. Not only the foundation, but a strong foundation. Because the foundation is what actually decides on the strength of the person that you are going to become. Now that is the first motivation that starts. For you to be a mechanical engineer, you need to have a good grade, at least an A or an A minus. But unfortunately, I didn't make to have an A. I got a B. And so I just meandered here and there until I got to where I am. But for you to be a good, for you to have to earn a direct entry to mechanical engineering, you must have a clean A or at least an A minus, depending on the classes that those universities require. And for you to be a mechanical engineer, remember that here we are going to be dealing with, sometimes you are going to be dealing with mechanical engineering systems, you have engines, you have machines. Sometimes you'll be dealing with extremely high temperatures, extremely high pressures, extremely cold temperatures. So you must have a thorough knowledge of physics. You must be good in physics. You must be good in chemistry. And for you to survive in any engineering class, you must be good in mathematics. So that is the basic foundations that you must have to be a mechanical engineer.
Let me chip in. How
Yes.
important is language in engineering?
Yes, thank you so much. I know you might be wondering why I have not talked about English or Swahili, but remember that wherever there is no communication, life becomes absurd or it becomes not reasonable. We must communicate. For me to do a project, I must be able to negotiate with my client. I must be able to drive. That is my knowledge area, explain myself. So for you to have, actually the importance of languages is actually communication, which is a key thing for you to win any contract, which is a key thing for you to communicate, which is a key thing for you to explain yourself and talk more about yourself. It is a relevant language that you must have, and you must be striving at any given point to learn. You must be working hard to learn to communicate, both in writing and reading. And as an engineer, we normally communicate through drawings, so that is an art that you must develop as you pursue the career.
Okay. So take us back to the university. You didn't mention the university which you took your course. Kindly tell us about the university and the basic things which happened in a mechanical engineering class.
Wow, I studied in Moi University, main campus, with my lecturers, the likes of Dr. Murgor. And in a typical mechanical engineering class, just mechanical, when you talk about mechanical, you just expect nothing but machines, equipment, metals, production processes. When you are talking of production processes, you must actually, before you can even go deeper into what you are going to learn. But there are basic things that you must learn even to be a certificate professional mechanical engineer. You must be having thorough knowledge of, you must be able to do have thorough knowledge on welding, which is classified. There are so many classes in it. You can be able to do TIG welding, MIG welding, arc welding, gas welding. You must be able to, you must have thorough knowledge on materials. That is, you must be able to know the materials, its properties, and so many other things in it. You must be able to do some material testing. You must be able to identify, depending on, maybe be it physical, you should be able, just by seeing, you should have those knowledge. Again, you must, in that class, the other very important things is you must be able to learn about thermodynamics, fluid mechanics, which are just around here where we are seated. Maybe if time will allow us, maybe we'll take you through. You will also be able to learn on strength of materials, or rather we can call it solid and structural mechanics. You must have thorough knowledge on automation. That is, you must be able to use different softwares and interface with the peripheral devices, because we are in a world where we are you can see that we are in an evolving world. Things are changing. Automation is on the day in, day out. You must have some, at least some programming knowledge. You must be a good designer. Also, you must do some engineering mathematics. That is, you must be able to perform some integration. You must do some analysis here and there. You must again, in that class, energy. Energy is the order of the day. Without energy, you cannot do anything. So in a mechanical engineering class, expect to do a lot of things on energy, that is production, storage. Not a storage actually, because you can't store energy. The energy can either be created or destroyed. So you must have proper knowledge of energy. How do we conserve energy? How do we create energy? How do we convert energy from one form to another? How do we make work easier? So that is just but a clue on what to expect, and so many other things inside it. Okay.
That is a whole class, my friend.
Yes.
So you have mastered all this.
Yes, I can say that I've mastered at least 80%, because life is, we learn each and every day. Each and every day you learn, because in an engineering setup, things change. So learning is continuous. As much as I learned in the university back in some years, but learning is still ongoing, still on progress. I get to learn new ideas each and every day.
Okay.
Yes.
Before we go to what happens in a career setup of an engineer, I want you to kindly elaborate some life principles or the attitude combinations of any engineer outside here. What is required of an engineer and the attitude combination?
Wow. As the attitude of an engineer, you know, life of an engineer is fun. Understanding an engineer might not be very easy. Understanding his life might not be very easy. But who you are as an engineer, or what makes you to be an engineer, one is that you must have critical thinking skills. Number two, you must have high problem skills. That is, you must be a problem solver. Another thing that you must be as an engineer is you should have the ability to read and interpret drawings. You should be in a position to design systems. You should be in a position actually to come up with models that represent what you are going to come up, and interface the knowledge that you are having into machine language. So that machine that you are coming up with, or the process that you are doing, is going to give you what you actually want to do, or is going to produce the real product. That is, the combination of all those four areas should actually give you the output of what you are putting into yourself, so that you can be somebody who can say that you are efficient, and you are a practical engineer or a practical problem solver.
Yes. That is elaborate.
Yes.
Now, you have graduated from Moi University. What happened from there?
Wow. My friends, life is full of uncertainties. Let me begin from there. The first day I left my university education, may God forgive me, I began cutting charcoal so that I can get something to take me out. My first money that I got, I remember I went for a casual job, and I was paid 200 shillings. And when I was being paid that 200 shillings, it was a heartbreak, because I remember my former manager at Mombasa, in a company known as Brolo, Kenya, he once told me that, my friend, never be a helper. My friend, build yourself. My friend, begin from where you can. Start it. That is why I started with the 200 shillings note. I had a Mulika Mwizi phone. For those who don't understand what a Mulika Mwizi phone is, because I'm on site, so this is what I normally use. So this is a Mulika Mwizi. So this is what I began with. I saved that 150 shillings, and after 3 days, I asked for my friend. He gave me some 500 shillings, where I took a chainsaw machine. Chainsaw is basically what people term it as a power saw. Power saw is a different machine, but well, that one is a chainsaw. So I took a chainsaw, felled some trees, cut some charcoal, and I began that journey. And after a week, I had my charcoal. It earned me 3,500 shillings. And from that day, I chose that I'm not going to be the same person. And let me just tell you something. If you want to be a successful person, don't fear to begin. That is why I began. I started my journey. I wanted to go to Nyeri. I had applied for several job positions. And I can remember I was called for an interview by Bamburi Cement. I was called by so many companies. I had almost 5 companies who were calling for an interview. And unfortunately, I don't know what ended up me. I just found myself working for public service as an intern. So that is where the first dream opened up, and I got a lot of opportunities. But on my way, when I left with the 3,000 shillings, I didn't remember that the 3,000 that I began with 200, saved 150, borrowed 500 after 3 days. That helped me to get that charcoal. So the day that I got my 3,500 shillings, I took the 500 shillings, returned to the lender, and I remained with 3,000. With the 3,000, I chose to start a journey to go to Nyeri, a remote village known as Kuwaini. So on that journey, with 3,000 shillings, I moved. That was supposed to be fair. It was supposed to be rent. It was supposed to be, that is, food for my upkeep. Putting in mind that from my village up to all the way to where I was going, it cost me roughly almost 1,200 shillings. So if you take the balance, I could remain with 2,800. Remember, I don't have any mattress. Just live like a senior bachelor. So I chose that when I go to that place, just rent a house. Even if I'm going to pay half, go to a warehouse, borrow maybe some cotton, use it as a mattress. But when I reached there, life changed. I first slept in a house, a wooden house. In that house, it just contained only one socket. And obviously, because I just came from campus, I had my empty gas cylinder. So the task with the 2,800 was to refill with 1,500. Now, can you imagine how much I was remaining with?
Okay, let me not even talk about that. Let's go back. Let's go directly to now you have secured employment in Kuwaini Polytechnic.
It is a technical training institute.
It's a Kuwaini Technical Training Institute. So I want us to link between you are a technologist now teaching in a technical institute.
Yes.
So tell us, how is this career?
Wow. So thank you. So about my journey in Kuwaini. Kuwaini, first of all, is an institution that was founded in the year 2015, and it is based under the technical and vocational training from the Ministry of Education. So in that institution, it offers so many courses in it. It has electrical engineering, it has civil and building engineering.
Be the cameraman.
So in Kuwaini, I served as a mechanical engineering trainer, training mechanical engineering, that is diploma in mechanical engineering production option, and performing other practicals related to mechanical engineering, that is we have welding, and so many other things. So from there, I served there for 6 months, then I relocated to my current place of work. Now here, I serve as an electromechanical technician.